Hello everyone, welcome back to Rule the Roost podcast. It is the day, I said I wasn't going to do one today, but then, you know what, I just thought, fuck it. It's a rainy day. It's a rainy day in weather terms, and it's a rainy day in Tottenham terms, because we lost to Liverpool. Everybody needs a bit of cheering up. And I'm not going to rely on me, obviously, to do that cheering up. So I've enlisted the help of... This sounds like I'm calling you a happy clapper, Rick, but I think you're a generally... optimistic, kind of good-tempered kind of guy. It's Ricky from the Fighting Cock podcast. Welcome back, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. That was a bit of an intro there. Like I'm supposed to be the optimistic one and make people kind of feel better. There's a lot of pressure on my shoulders. I'll try, one will try his best, but but fucking hell, man.
So, right, but blimey, better like do some stretches now and limber up, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rick, I'm just going to put this to you.
Go on then.
Why Liverpool? Why is it always Liverpool? Why? Like what? Why do we always? Why are they like our horrible? Why are they the school bully? Why is it always them that just does this to us? Always. Doesn't matter how shit they've been, what form they've been in, anything like that. It's always them. Always.
It is at the moment. But there's quite a funny thing that reminded me of this. I was watching, I can't remember what it's called now. Is it Saturday Social on Sky Sports? Flav was on there, and they had a Liverpool fan on there too, and they were just kind of arguing the toss about Tottenham, Liverpool, and stuff like that. And obviously, this Liverpool fan was extra kind of confident and goading Flav, and Flav was like, let's not forget, let's not pretend that for like 3 or 4 seasons Tottenham were finishing above Liverpool only a few years ago, and then at Wembley we took them apart, and we've had some good results. And I started laughing because it's true. Like, it's easy to remember recent pain, and we obviously won't forget that. But if you go a little bit back, we did have the upper hand on Liverpool. And it's not often that we say that, but I just think Liverpool are one of those teams, you know, mentality monsters. I don't know. It's just one of those clubs that the fans, they just suck the ball into the net. They're huge support, insane European and league history. Liverpool itself is just a weird city in England, like it just exists on its own. It doesn't, for me, like, you can always be like, oh right, Liverpool are in a bad run of form, or they're not winning or whatever, but it's Liverpool, man. That, like, they can turn up whenever. And like this week, didn't they just beat Napoli at home? Like, Napoli at the moment are they're no light touch, and they done them, and they've like Tottenham, they've had a bit of a stuttery season, and they've just brought in Nunes, and they've brought in a few other people. Mane's gone, so it's a little bit different, and they're finding their feet just like we're finding our feet at the moment with a few changes. So it's kind of like, I don't know, man. Every season when Tottenham play Liverpool, United, Chelsea, I'm kind of like, I write those fixtures off, and anything that we get is a positive. And there could be people listening to this, but that's not the mentality you should have. You should want to win every one of those games. Yeah, I get that. And when we play at the Lane, I absolutely feel like we should be getting 3 points against those. And while we're in the hunt for top 4, that we should be taking points off of the people that we're competing against. But equally, this is football, man, and people can take points off anyone at any time, and the teams are quite close. It's just disappointing that obviously it's at home. Liverpool were in a bad run of form, and I don't think they've won an away game in the Prem. And then obviously it comes against Tottenham. But the thing is, when you play against teams like this, you've got to be 100%. You've got to be on it. You've got to be focused. You cannot do what Eric Dier did. You can't. And I'm not fucking hauling him over the coals and being like, it's his fault, he's our scapegoat. But you cannot do things like that, because you gift that to Salah and he's going to stick that in the back of the net. There's no two ways about it. You have to be fully focused all the time.
Do you think?
And
do you see Eric Dier? He got engaged this week. Do you think he's just been shagging too much, just like celebrating? He's just a bit knackered. His head's not really in it.
Yeah, no. When I remember when I got engaged, there was shagging, boy, loads of shagging.
Second honeymoon, sort of. Well, it's a pre-honeymoon period, isn't it, in a way?
Yeah. So I proposed to the missus in Sicily, and we bought one of those wedding planning books. Started going through the early arrangements, and as I was saying, just all the shagging, and my first child came along, fell pregnant within like 2 months, so we had to shelve the wedding. And then after the first one was born, then the second one, we were like, right, we've got the kid, let's get the wedding done and dusted, start planning again. All this shagging happened, and the second one came along, so I'm not planning the wedding anymore because another child will come out because of all the shagging.
So, I was going to say, you got the order the wrong way around, mate, but you're little devil, aren't you? Little devil. But with these games like Liverpool, United, all this type of stuff, right? I've got this theory that I've waffled on about on my little solo pods. I do want to put somebody else.
I love listening to them. I love listening to them. By the way,
thank you.
It's akin. Sorry, I know I'm cutting you here, but it's like when I like feel Tottenham's results. I don't know why. It just makes me feel awful, like a lot of people. But I feel really bad. And then when I listen to my dad and how pained he is, it kind of cheers me up a little bit. And listening to your pod yesterday, and like how your description of when we're out of space and the astronauts being cut loose and they're just like going further and further away from the target and they're gonna die, it did make me laugh. So thank you for that.
That's all right, mate. I do try. At least you're not laughing at me. You know what I mean?
No.
For once, don't want those secondary school flashbacks. But the thing about these sort of games like Liverpool, United and stuff, because let's look at this one. Liverpool, they've drawn away at Fulham and they've lost at home to Leeds, right? We could have been a trio of lily-white teams to do them, but obviously we let the side down. But do you think there is, because we always talk about Tottenham DNA and we talk about being Spursy and all this type of thing, right? Spurs, and I do maintain this, and I know there would be other people that would say, oh, you're just saying that because you're a Spurs fan. But if they actually stopped to think about it objectively, right? Spurs are, I think, a completely unique club in the landscape of kind of top flight football, in so much as, really, I mean, like Newcastle and that are coming up fast, right? And who knows what Villa and other teams will do, Villa because they spend a lot of money and blah, blah, blah. But at this point in time, Tottenham are pretty much really, in terms of size, stature, and what we've been achieving, or close to achieving over the past few years, we're way out in front of the rest of the chasing pack. We don't really have any peers, if you like, right? But then in front of us, we've got Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Man United, Liverpool. Teams that have been part of this established order. Man City, not so much. They're a different thing out on their own, really. But those other ones, that other sort of the classic top four, top five, they've always kind of been the stalwarts of the Premier League, right? Winning everything year in, year out. Even before Abramovich came along, Chelsea was still sort of winning stuff. They were close to it. So they were still sort of seen as one of the bigger teams, a Champions League team, that type of thing.
Yeah.
We sort of, we always sort of say about how we don't show up in these games. But I personally really, and there is something in that. I do think there is something in our mentality in that. But I do think that group of teams, they are always, to them, losing to us is a massive reflection on them. They always see it as, fuck, Tottenham are overtaking us right now. So I think they always put so much into playing against us because they're so terrified of us leapfrogging one of them, of kind of taking that spot. And we've been even though we've been finishing above, say, Liverpool, we've been finishing above United, we've been finishing above Arsenal, I still kind of feel like, in old cartoons when you'd see like one of the little characters trying to box one of the big characters and he's just kind of like holding him away with his hand to his forehead sort of thing. I still feel like with that, even though we've been good, we've had good runs under Pochettino, we've still always been sort of comfortable for them. They're like, it's all right, let Spurs have their Champions League runs and all this type of thing because they're not winning anything at the moment. But whenever it comes down to these points, these times, like think about it, peak Pochettino when we were so much better than Manchester United. That FA Cup semi-final, they had no business beating us in that. And there's several times with Chelsea as well when really we've probably been the better team and they've had no business beating us in them. But they just go that extra bit. They've got that bit of experience and that bit of confidence and that bit of belief that if you go at Tottenham, whether it's true or not, if you go at Tottenham, you can beat them. Whereas I think of smaller teams, they maybe don't play on the front foot against United and everyone like that as much because the narrative isn't if you go at United, you can beat them. The narrative is if you play smart, you can maybe beat United because they're not the team they once were, but they're always dangerous kind of thing. With Tottenham, we're just the laughingstock of everybody. Still, unfairly so as well, So basically, my question to you, Ricky, in short is, do you think it is as much about us as it is about the opposition team raising their game? That it's not always this big, fucking hell, Tottenham, why do you always bottle it? Why do you always let us down in these big games?
Your points were, you made some really good points there, by the way, Jack. I think, you're right in the fact that I think when teams play against us, I don't know why, but Tottenham get a lot of hate because I think that we are a sizable club and in recent history we've got no business being in a full house like near on 63,000 seat stadium, amazing training centre, all the rest of it. Because we just haven't collected the trophies over the years. I mean, a League Cup here and there isn't what would underpin all of that. So I think we just get a lot of undue hate, and I think us being Tottenham fans and having that history that we are a bit confident, and it's not confident built on our recent history, it's confidence built on our very distant history, but it's still valid. So I think people get the needle with us in that respect, and I just think it transcends through their clubs that they know they must beat Tottenham, because like you said, if they get turned over by Tottenham and Tottenham fans are giving it to them, it's like, fuck, we have to have a look at ourselves here. But also, like the teams that you mentioned, and rightly so as well, that you said that we, about United or Arsenal or even Chelsea, but like especially with United and Arsenal, we've been finishing above those the past few seasons. I had the measure of them, but I think there is a mentality that, like on a computer game where you've got everything, but there's this one feature that you haven't unlocked and you don't know how to do it, and you've been in the same rooms that you need to, you've opened the chest, you've lit the candle, you've looked behind the artwork, you've gone everywhere, but you still can't unlock this last thing. Now that last thing is winning a trophy that is sizable, and then when you win that trophy, the mentality and outlook just changes. I think it's just a huge change within the fans. I think it's a change within the players and the coaching staff. And when you win one trophy and then you win the next and it snowballs, you start to have that recent history like Chelsea, Liverpool, United, Arsenal, and your whole outlook changes. And I just think in those times, and especially with those types of clubs as well, they do attract a caliber of manager, a caliber of player that have been there, that have done that have the experience and just, grab the ball by the horns, and that mercurial player, and they just do it. well, we have always struggled to do that. I do think under all the managers that we've had and stuff like that, I think if anyone is going to do something, it will be Conte. And at the moment, yeah, it feels rough. We've just lost to Liverpool. They haven't won an away game. All that stuff. Yeah, it feels rough. Arsenal are top of the league. That's a pain, and I think that is when you look over the fence and you see how well they're doing. It hurts even more, and that's when you kind of internalize stuff even more. Not only are you kind of failing, but they're doing well. So there's that to contend with. But we're a year into this Conte kind of reign, and if you look at Liverpool, how long has Klopp been there? And you look at Arsenal, Arteta's been there for 3 years now, I think, and he's had, like, what was it? It'd be, so 3 years, he's had, let's just say 6 transfer windows. I don't know how much money he's actually spent. He has spent quite a lot, and he has got out players that he wanted to get out and brought in young players that he wanted to bring in that fitted the profile and stuff like that. So they're doing really well. City, fucking untold money, whatever. I just think that in January when we brought in Kulusevski and Bentancur, that was amazing and changed our first team immediately. And then what Conte said about the transfers that we've made, there's two. I think he's saying there's 2 different types of transfers, and like this summer was numerical, so to have the squad and to have the players, and then I think the next transfer next summer will be about quality, so it'll be replacing the people that are already in the first team.
It's quite funny, isn't it? I like it because it's probably Conte's most gentle way of saying, like, most of the players we've signed are shit, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Even though I don't think they are, but I'm just saying it's
padding it out, stocking fillers.
They're the bar of soap from Body Shop. Do you know what I mean? When you're like, I've spent 30 quid on them. Is that enough? Oh, just get them a couple of extra little bits. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, exactly. So I think once we have a few transfers, transfer windows where we have brought in quality, where we have slapped down like a 50 mil on Richarlison or whoever it might be, then we'll be able to kind of see where we really are. And I think if we bring those players in and Conte's still there, and Kane is still firing, and so is Sonny, and the stars align, then I think we will be able to do something and win something. But at the moment, it just feels a bit. We're a year into the project. That's all I'll say. A year into the project, and like I've seen a lot of. I've seen a particular tweet, shall I say, that says we finished top of our Champions League group, and are we 4th at the moment? I haven't even checked the table.
Yeah, 4th by Newcastle.
So 4th, and then when we go to the World Cup, when we break from the World Cup, no matter what happens, we remain 4th. Is that correct? I haven't seen the league, but we'll just say that for argument's sake.
Don't ask me for anything actually. You know what I mean, mate? Numbers and real things. Just ask me for big emotions and opinions.
Yeah, exactly. We shoot from the hip, don't we? We're just we're a heart on our sleeve. So what? If someone said to you at the beginning of the season, without any other stats, that before we break for the World Cup, Tottenham will be in the top 4. Tottenham would have qualified for the next round of the Champions League, and we'd have won our group. You would have been delighted with that and been like, "Yep, that's fucking great." But I also think there's a bit of a double-edged sword that with Conte, because we've got Conte, I feel like we should be doing better. Like, because we've got him, we should be title challengers, and I think that's where we get a bit. I think we will be, but I think it's a bit too early at the moment.
And
I got carried away.
I'm not saying that you're doing this as well, but I do think at the moment, and I understand, I get there's an air of self-preservation about it, but in that scenario that you've outlined for me there, yeah, I would be happy, but the bit that you are leaving out is that Arsenal would be top of the league and absolutely flying as well, which even in a kind of a look ahead is still uncomfortable. It's still not a nice reality. And I get it. People will say, like, don't think about them, think about us. But let's be real. It's not how this works. You know, it's horrible seeing them doing what they're doing. And I understand the point. It shouldn't take away really from what we are doing objectively, right? We are performing well, I would say. But kind of like you touch on there, I think there is that frustration. I think all of it. What I mean is, Barca, we can't do anything about Arsenal being good. We just can't. They are really
exactly
good.
That was going to be my next. We can't do anything about
my only
Arsenal.
point of that is I get why it fans the flames of kind of people being a bit stressed about the situation. I feel it myself. You know, I would be completely lying if I said a lot of my mood wasn't affected. Like Tottenham mood wasn't affected by Arsenal being as good as they are and being as smug and gloating and everything as they are right now. Yeah. But if we do focus on Tottenham, I think what you've touched on there is important, is that, you know, we do have somebody like Conte in charge who, whatever you think about him, whatever you think about his style of football, we know this is a guy who has a track record of success, who I would say that, you know, even with the tools at his disposal, even though I do think it's downplayed quite how much money he has been given already and the amount of kind of good players that we do have in the team, I do think a lot of people are still trotting out this, imagine if we backed him, what we'd achieve. It's like, lads, we are spending a fair amount of money nowadays. Like, so this is getting a bit boring. We can't drop like fucking 500 million one transfer window. It's a bit by bit process, but the squad is improving. It is getting there. But that aside, it's like I do think a lot of this stress, a lot of the worry about Conte is his failure to commit long term. So it always feels like there's a ticking clock there. Remember Dunkirk, the film Dunkirk, how stressful that fucking film was to watch? Because it's just a ticking clock throughout the whole fucking film that just keeps you on edge. That's what this sort of managerial tenure feels like. We've got him, we've got Kane's contract running out, we've got Son's career winding down. I guess we got Lloris's career winding down. Like, there's always just the way we play this high risk brand of football. It really just feels like there's always this like tension on everything that we're doing, that everything has to go right, or Conte leaves and then Paratici gets the sack as well, and then we're having to rebuild again under another manager, and Harry Kane leaves, and Son's like just too old or too fucked now, and Lloris is gone, and then we don't have 100 mil to spend on a goalkeeper who's as good as him. Do you know what I mean? There are all these things sort of coming to a head right now at Spurs. So I do quite understand. I do understand.
There are.
Why, you know, so for example, one of the big things from yesterday, and I get it, I know that people want to try and be rational and not kind of allow themselves to be swept up in the stress of it. But I do think there is an inordinate amount of policing now of people just being a bit annoyed after the football. There's a lot of this, oh, well, you're probably the type of person that's really bothered by the scoreline here, but we actually played really well against Liverpool. And sometimes I think people just need to be allowed to be like, I'm fucking annoyed that we lost to Liverpool. I'm just annoyed about that. And I don't have to be rational. I don't have to think, yeah, okay, context and all this type of stuff. That will come later. But in that moment, do people need to be leading out from the front saying like, don't be annoyed about that. Think about the fact that we played really well in the second half and our XG was great. This isn't an indirect to anybody. This is a general kind of thing I'm saying. I just think sometimes that type of energy like is as destructive as somebody having a complete wobble saying, get Conte out, get this out, get that, because it just creates division again. Sometimes I think just in the wake of a game, people just need to be allowed to feel a bit annoyed. That's what football is, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I mean, I did see... On my way home, I was on the train and I was feeling like shit. The train was packed and I was just like, oh, fucking hell, this is horrible. And then I can't remember who it was that tweeted, but it was something along the lines of like, if you look at the XG, we outperformed them. So, you know, it should have been a draw. And I was like, yeah, it should have, could have, would have, whatever. We lost, man. Like, at this moment, it's so raw that I'm literally coming home from a game. I can't do that thing where I'm the bigger person and look at the bigger picture and be like, yeah, but we held possession in this amount of time, whatever it might fucking be. These different stats. I'm hurting. We've lost 2-1. That's for me. That's the line under it at that moment in time, and I'll be able to in the next coming days look back at XG and be like, well, okay, maybe we did deserve a draw, but we didn't get it. Whatever it might be. But like you were saying, yeah, I think people can be allowed to be upset and to vent their frustrations. But also, I feel that if you do, when you are venting your frustration, that some people can be, it's the end of the world. Like, everything is total and utterly fucked. Like, we're fourth. Like, I saw another tweet, I can't remember who it was, when we come back from the World Cup, that we're fourth and we'll be looking down because people will be coming towards us, and because that's where we're closer to the people that we're looking down on, rather than looking up at City, Arsenal, and I can't even remember fucking who else is above us. But
Newcastle.
Is it Newcastle? There you go. And like Newcastle, they're having like, a little renaissance there under Eddie Howe, playing really well, very attacking. But it's the early part of the season, man. We're breaking in November. It's still pretty early, man. There's still a lot of football to happen. I reckon the second half of Tottenham's season is going to be very good. And
Kulusevski back as well, man. We'll talk about him in a bit, but still.
Yeah, we will do. And like, I feel a bit. I don't know whether I should say this or not, but Romero and Richarlison, like where they're from, the countries always outweighs the club, and I just feel that maybe they could have been there for us.
I agree, mate. It's annoying.
With an eye on the World Cup, because they both want to bring it home for their countries, like everyone does. But like Kane is not dropping. Like, he's playing every single fucking minute. He doesn't care. So it's a fine balance. But it's difficult to kind of take these results and see the to go back to the original point, to see the bigger picture when there's a lot of stats and this and that or whatever articles written that says, things aren't that bad, and in the second half we did really well and we had double the amount of shots than we did in the first half, and that proves whatever. Again, we lost, man, and for me it's the things that I get annoyed about is it's the individual mistakes, and the things that the recurring things that happen. Like, I understand that, I know Royal gets a lot of flack, and whether you think it's fair or not, but like when he gets into I feel like he gets into really good positions, but his choice in the choice in the passes he picks out and the crosses he puts in are just toilet. It's just so wasteful being in that position. Why hasn't Doherty been given a chance? Like, when he came on, and also his link up play with Kulusevski was great, and then he got injured and he was out. But when Kulu and Doherty were playing yesterday, the second half, we looked a lot brighter down that side. And then on the left side as well, I mean, for me, Sessi, he gets into those positions too, and he pushes forward, and he's like, I think Dier was finding him quite a few times yesterday, but again, he would just turn back inside, pass the ball inside,
he just
not
panic.
whipping
It's
across
like he
in.
hates having the ball, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just, I know it's unconfidence, but how many times am I going to be sitting here saying he's unconfident, or he just needs a run of games, or he just needs this, he just needs that? It's just, like, we play a system where we are heavily reliant on our wing-backs, heavily, but our wing-backs are just not the wing-backs that we need. They're either being asked to do something that they're not familiar with, they haven't got the confidence. Perisic is old, and like his delivery and his crossing and for corners as well. I know there was a couple of shit ones yesterday, but is fantastic. But his one-on-one defending when he's being run at is fucking awful. So there's like loads of different bits here, but like why has Conte not got the wing backs that he wanted? I know he's got Perisic in for that experience and that older head and someone who's done it everywhere really, but I don't know, man. That this is where this is what angers me the most, and it's like Dier as well. I'm not lumping this all on him, but there have been a few times, against Frankfurt, I think he was the one that gave that he received the shit pass. He didn't control it properly. Frankfurt nipped in and scored. Yesterday, again, like letting in someone like Salah, and Salah obviously
it was
needs one chance. Fucking
that thing from somebody. Let's be honest, one of the more senior members of the squad now in Eric Dier.
Yeah, totally.
To give it away like that, we're talking a potential kind of at least the way he was playing the end of last year and the start of this season, a potential kind of captain, and he's doing stuff like that. It's. I mean, let's talk about him, mate, because like I was saying, I've been kind of dying on a hill for him, just being like, what, actually, I think he's turned a corner. And I think he's really fucking good. And I do think, for, like I say, the end of last season and the beginning of this year, he's been one of our best and most consistent players. But when he falls off a cliff, he goes down about 1,000 feet, mate, because he's been all, like, these past, should we say, 4 games, maybe? He's been particularly terrible in these games he's played, and that to me felt like the sort of the tip of the iceberg. So, do you think there's a player there? Do you think he needs a bit more patience to show us that he is kind of? Because I think the thing that I do disagree with is people will say like Dier's shown you exactly the player he is over the past 5 years, but I think his career over the past few years has been. I don't think it takes away from anything I've said previously. I think he has been. He's had like long-term health concerns and all these type of things, injuries that have never really gone away. And it seems to be that he's kind of finally, the last couple of years, in that clean bill of health. And I think in that time, he's actually been really good. But obviously now he's going through a really, really grim patch. Do you think he's just been playing above himself? Do you want to see him replaced, basically? Is he one of the key positions that you want us to spend 40, 50, 60 million euros or whatever on replacing?
Yeah, I mean, what I will say for Dier, I think he's a great person. I've listened to him on a couple of podcasts. He seems like a lovely lad. He's been at Tottenham for ages, and I want him to do so well. And like you're saying, he is captain material, and I think he works in a certain kind of system that we play. But where I feel like he's not an elite centre back is when Conte wants us to play with the ball. He wants our defenders to draw the attackers, to let them press, and to us to play out the press and transition quickly. And I just feel like the slightest bit of pressure on Dier and he shits himself. Like he just gets kind of like if the game plan was to sit deep and watching the attackers, the opposing team to swing balls in, and he's getting his head on and he's last ditch defending and he's that one man that thou shalt not pass. Dyer's that guy, man. He won't let you down. And I think to a certain degree, I think Sanchez is good at that as well. But when you put it on them, they just seem to just lose their heads, man. And it was, and then watching Davies against Salah yesterday was giving me fucking heart palpitations. But it is Mo Salah, But Davies did an all right job. I
think he's generally a good player, Davies.
Defensive duties. But the thing that annoys me about Davies is when the ball gets to him and his passing, he just gives it away. He tries to play to our midfielders centrally, and he just gives the ball away. So for me, there's a blend of different types of defenders that I think where we aspire to be, that we just don't have the right tools. We have the right tools for certain ways that we would want to play, but if we want to be this team where we are inviting pressure and we want the opposition to press us and to play out of it, then I just don't think Dier, Davies, Sanchez, that they're cute enough to do that, or to take the ball like Romero does and then maraud forward and march through that and break that press himself. I mean, they're good players, and I would definitely have them within our squad and on the bench. As soon as, like, I don't know, 60 minutes, they come on and they do a job, or if Romero's injured and Dier comes in for 4, 5, 6 games, I think they do a job. But I think over the season, I just think the mistakes and the way that we play, I just don't think that they are what we need or where we aspire to be, if I'm honest.
But then, all right then, Rick, I'll put the more difficult question to you.
Go on then.
Lenglet, I mean, is he a player? Have you seen enough so far that he's a player that you want to see us drop, let's say 30, 40 million on? Or would you rather roll the dice again and have a punt elsewhere? Because personally, I think this is the thing. I keep banging on about this at the moment. And somebody said to me the other day, like, you know, why is Lenglet catching strays from you? And it's like, it's not. I think he's a solid player. But do I honestly really look at him as a massive step up from Dier and Davis? I don't. I honestly don't. And I at the end of this loan spell, I probably wouldn't be that asked about seeing him go back to Barcelona and see us spend the amount of money we'd probably have to spend on making it a permanent transfer elsewhere. But have I just got an agenda against him? Do I have a bee in my bonnet and I just want to prove it or whatever? I mean, what do you think?
Well, you have said to me in WhatsApp that you absolutely hate the French, so there is that. But
I've just been watching a lot of, I know, Jeremy Clark. He hates the French, doesn't he, Jeremy Clarkson? I don't like the French. You know, I'm going to drive a car around and talk about Europeans. You know, fuck you, wanker.
That's a good impression. I like that, actually. Yeah, I just to answer your question, no, I don't think I wouldn't want to bang 40 mil down.
Go on, Ricky. Go on, my son.
I think he, for the profile of player that I feel like we were missing on that left-hand side, like I mentioned before with Davies, he's a very solid defender. He's not scared to put his, head on it or anything. But I just don't think with his passing ability that if we are inviting the press and we are trying to pick players out, that I think he gets panicked and he'll maybe not hoof it, but there'll be passes that are gone astray. Now Lenglet is a bit more technically better with his passing and can pick those passes out, and I've seen him do it. But defensively, against Davies, I don't know. I don't think there's much between them. Like yesterday, I don't like. It's hard to be blaming players, and because obviously it's a team game. But when Nunes got the ball and it was on Dier's side, and Dier was there, and I think someone else was there, Lenglet kind of went racing over to meet Nunes. And then he just looked up and saw Salah was free. He was like, here you go, son. And by that time, Cesc was like way out of the picture, was trying to close him down, but Salah had already fucking put it in the back of the net before Cesc could do anything. But it was like, well, why rush in? Like, if you're, I don't know, that calibre of player who we think he is or whatever, would he have rushed in? Like, Salah's one of those players that if he ain't got the ball, you still need to be on him. Like, look how many people were on Nunes, and like, would Nunes have done anything if there's two players? He should have stayed with Salah, but it's football. Shit like that happens. And also, I don't know if you noticed, especially in the first half, that Liverpool kept playing this certain ball where it was either coming from the centre-backs or from Robertson. Like, they would play this straight ball, but then at the last minute, it would kind of like curl, but it would just drop behind Dier. And it would come right over Royal's head, but just drop near Dier, and then Nunes would just shift it onto his right foot, and he was just like on a goal scoring opportunity, and it happened over and over again. It was so frustrating that nobody else could see that was happening. And it's those things that I just feel like, Nunes is like, he all he wants to do is put it on his right foot. Just show him to the left, man. Just show him down that. But every time, cutting on his right. And I was like, he's going to ping that ball in the back of the net any fucking minute, and you're just letting him do it. And I just think a more seasoned, not more seasoned pro, because that's unfair, but Dier is a seasoned pro, but
just
I don't know.
Players, isn't it? Basically,
yeah.
It's the only way you can put it. Like, it sounds harsh, but it's
should he have been more aggressive? Should he have been more aggressive and gone out to meet the pass that Nunes was receiving and got in front of it and taken it away from him, like Romero probably would have done, launched himself at it? I don't know. I don't know, but they just kept finding him and picking him out, and like Dier was nowhere to be seen, and obviously fucking Royale weren't. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like with the system that we play with Conte, that at the back defensively we have to be 100%, and we have to be focused all the time, and on top of that we have to be able to pass, and it doesn't help that Lloris, fucking hell, man, again yesterday, like, ball came to him, went to clear it, cannoned off a Liverpool player, and I was like, heart and mouth. It's like, fuck. But to go back to your point earlier as well, what you were saying about yeah, but Kane, he's getting older, Son's getting older, Lloris is getting older, and this is happening, and da-da-da-da-da. If we are serious about replacing these people, that we'll be able to see as fans, we can see that Lloris has been a magnificent servant to Tottenham, and he is a quality keeper, but the way that we're playing and that we want to play at the back, Lloris's kicking is letting him down all the time.
He's not at the level anymore, is he?
No, he's not. And yesterday, again, I think maybe twice it happened where the ball was, I don't know who had it, Liverpool player, but he ran out to meet it and was like, oh fuck, he got caught in no man's land again, and then was like, fuck, I need to sprint back to my goal again. And it happened twice, just like
he keeps doing that,
just losing
moment,
his head. Yeah, and I don't know whether it's a whole confidence thing with our whole back line and there's so much pressure because of the way we play. I don't know. Or it might be an age thing because he is too old and it's just like he can't do it anymore. But our recruitment should be able to spot this, and we should have a line of names that who is going to be the successor to Lloris, to potentially to Harry or to Sonny or whatever. But I don't know what my point is now anymore, Jack. I'm just rambling on, mate.
That's the name of the game on this pod, mate. It's the name of the game. I'll tell you what then. If we're going just down this rabbit hole of like doom and gloom, let's look at one of the what I've said, like the sunshine through the rain, is Dejan Kulusevski. If we're talking about legacy planning, we're talking about Son and Kane and all this, right? The second he stepped on the pitch yesterday, he showed us his quality and what we've been missing. The fact that he is quite truly, I feel confident in saying, a world-class talent. I think the boy is something special, and he's somebody that we need to build our team around. You know, I was saying on the little solo pod yesterday, make him feel important. Get him on a long-term fucking contract and make him, whenever we do kit launches, if there's fucking big posters going up in the fucking club shop, on the side of the stadium, wherever, get his face on all of them. Like we do with Harry, like we do with Sonny, get Kulusevski on fucking everything now. Because to me, he is the future of the club, and we should be building around him now. Because I honestly, I think he is a special player, and it's one of these things. You know, I'm open in my questioning of Conte. It makes me wonder why the fuck he hasn't been playing the whole season. You know, we actually left him out through choice at the start of the season, which to me is bizarre. It's mental, considering how important he was in the tail end of last year. And it's great. who knows? Maybe if Sweden were in the World Cup, he wouldn't have come back pre-World Cup. We sort of dig out Romero and Richarlison. That I'm disappointed with them too. Don't get me wrong, but Kulusevski. I don't know if you saw he had some comments basically yesterday saying that he's been so upset that he's been injured because the main thing he wants to do is like bring Tottenham the success, the joy, I think he said, that they deserve. And it's just nice to have like a lad already on side. And people can say, oh, he's just doing it for PR. But fucking Gareth Bale never fucking said any of that shit about us. Never does.
No.
We love him. Don't get me wrong, we love him. But Harry Kane isn't the most vocal in kind of like is like giving his love to the club and everything like that. He's quite, and I get it. He's not a big talker, Harry. Like he's quite a stoic guy and all that sort of thing. So whatever. Maybe I'm cutting him a bit of slack. But to see somebody, one of the new lads like Kulusevski, who I honestly believe could be playing anywhere in what this is. I look at Liverpool yesterday, right? I look at them, and one of the frustrations for me, right, is they are not. The thing that annoyed me most about watching that game is, they got Mo Salah, right? I get it. But he's not scary Mo Salah of 2 years ago. Still, like, and I look at them and I think they ain't that scary anymore. They're not. There was a chance there to do them, and whatever, we didn't take it, but. I look at a player like Nunes, they've just dropped all that money on, right? They've dropped 70, 80 mil on. He ain't fucking Mane. Like, he ain't fit to lace Mane's boots. Nowhere close to it. And I get it, he's a sort of different player and all this type of thing, but we're talking about them replacing an attack. Let's say even compare him to somebody like Firmino, who they're probably more comparable. I don't think he's anywhere near kind of even what Firmino was back in the day. And this is kind of like, this shows you how difficult it is to sign top draw talent, and the fact that we've almost lucked out in a way with Kulusevski.
Yeah, I was chatting to my dad in the calf before the game, and I was saying how desperate we've been for Kulusevski, because not only has he been scoring, not only has he been assisting, but the way we play. And when he has the ball at his feet, he's an outlet for us. Like, when we've got that pressure on us, we've been getting the ball. It's been going up to Kane. He's can't hold on to it, or he wins the header and we don't win the second ball, and the attack comes back to us. If Moore is there, he gets the ball, he runs into a defender, then the attack comes back to us. So we just haven't had that outlet. And I was saying to my dad that Kulusevski is this, he's that, is the other, and he was saying, "Are you sure? Like he doesn't seem that fast. We need a nippy fast winger. We need like a Lennon or someone like that, a Bale." And I was like, "No, honestly," I said, "like he is fucking rapid anyway." And he's like super skillful when he runs with the ball, and he actually takes players on. And when he came on, within a couple of minutes, I don't know whether it's him or he passed to someone and it kind of got fouled. It kind of looked like a penalty or free kick on the edge of the box. I don't think we got it, really. I think it was Kulusevski. I think it actually was him. And then within a minute later, or a few minutes later, he put that ball in for Kane. Kane ran on a sublime finish. But let's go back to that pass. That pass where Kulusevski is running kind of parallel with the area, and everyone is drawn towards where he's running, and they're following that, and he slides that ball in to that channel for Kane to run into. Who the fuck has been doing that? Who has been making those balls? Who's been playing those balls for us regularly? Højbjerg has come in with a couple, which has been great, and we've scored from them, but like. That we've missed that regular spark of creativity, that one thing where everybody just feels like it's a bit one-dimensional, where the ball is going to go from left wing back to the centre back to right wing back to the, it's quite predictable and quite plodding along. But when you have a player like Kulusevski that can break the lines, that can run at people, that will do something, a trick out, a trick out of the hat where he'll pop a ball through like that. We've missed it desperately. And now that we've got him back, we should really, for me, we just need to be thinking, once that's gone, look where we've been. We need to get another player of that calibre, or another player with that skill set that can pop those balls through. That, when we're playing with three in the middle, when we've got Basuma, Bentancur and Højbjerg, or Skip, or Sarr, whoever it is, are those players that pull the strings, that kind of look for those balls down the channel for Kane to run into, for Son to run into, for Kulu to run into? We don't really have that player. And it's just those things that I feel like that's missing. And when Kulu came back for a very brief period, you could just see that it just brought the team to life. All of the team to life.
Everyone was
excited. A real kind of shot in the arm. Yeah, oh, totally. And at the ground as well, when Kulu came on, it was a real kind of boost, and everyone was standing up and applauding and waiting for him to come on. While I think of it, right, I'm just going to... There's two other things that you need to write down or whatever. Booing at half-time and a smattering at full-time. And also the sarcastic cheers for when Dier controlled the ball or passed the ball. We'll come back to those. But yeah, Kulusevski, he's so important and fundamental to the way we play. But I think it really, for me, it's really opened my eyes that is the way. And Richarlison, he's a decent player and he can replace Sonny on the left, or Kane is a good quality backup. But the backup we have for Kulusevski, Richarlison doesn't do what Kulusevski does. And I don't think we have a player. Like the closest we have is Moran. For me, they're just, chalk and cheese. They're totally different. We need someone, a young'un, whoever it might... I say a young'un, fucking Kulusevski's God knows how old, like 21 or whatever.
Yeah, but just, I think.
Great. But I mean, we just need someone to be able to deputise for him, or to give him a rest or whatever. I think that's where we need to look, and that or that creative spark in central midfield. I think that would get us going, definitely, and get us more on the front foot.
Go on, tell us about your boom, mate. Because Joe, the thing is, I've never been a massive fan of it at all. And I used to be, when I was younger, I was a lot more hot-headed. I'd be really like, if you fucking boo, you're fucking this and that. And then obviously people have said to me like, it's my fucking, I can do what I want. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Do you know what I mean? I get it, right? Yeah, people do pay a lot of money and that. But the thing is, it felt to me that like whenever there would be booing in the past, it would be little pockets every now and again if it was a particularly bad performance or something like that. It seems to be almost commonplace now, man. It seems to be almost every fucking game where we're not winning, people are booing, Exactly, and this is my point. It's like, who do you think you are, or who do we think we are? Maybe we should be booing. Like, who do we think we are that at half-time when we're losing to Liverpool that we're booing? It's like, it's fucking mad. It really is mad. Like, Liverpool are a massive team in Europe, and they could quite easily go to any team and win there. And we're booing at half time. And for me, that's not going to help. That's not going to be like, if you're getting booed, it's not going to G me up or whatever. And I'm not saying we should be fucking happy clapping like seals and being like, yeah, come on Tottenham and all that. But I think it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. If we support the team, then they raise their game. And then also, if they start getting on the front foot, then we stand up and we start cheering them on. So it works both ways. But to be booing at half time and to be booing against, I don't know if we're just drawing or whatever, even if we're just 1-0 down, I don't feel like booing at half time is the one really at all. And I don't think it's going to get anyone G'd up. And I think Conte, he's come out and there was an interview, I don't know if it was with Valley Gold, but it's definitely Evening Standard, where he was asked about the booing and he was saying he understands the frustration, people pay the money for the tickets and all this other stuff, but it isn't really helpful. We should be getting behind the team, and it's like, yeah, but we're 2-0 down, mate. Like, yeah, fucking get behind them even more, man. They need your support.
So, and he's mentioned quite a few times, Conte has, about that White Hart Lane should be a cauldron. It should be, you know, our kind of people should think going to Tottenham like the way we think about going up to Anfield. Like, those 3 points are in the fucking bin. There's no chance we're getting anything up there. When teams come to Tottenham, that's how they should be feeling, and we should be making White Hart Lane an absolute fortress. I just want to say a big shout out to I think I can't remember the handle. Is it THFC Flags? The guys that are trying to get a lot of the flags going, a lot of the atmosphere back.
Spurs song sheet, isn't that another one?
Spurs song sheet, yeah. I was gonna say those as well, but those two on Twitter that are really trying to get some kind of atmosphere back, or at least that South Stand, to make it a formidable noise. That, like, mad respect to you guys. Love what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'll support all the way. But so that's the booing part, and then at full time, I don't really think I heard a lot of boos. I think there was a smattering, like, not really. But I think the second half, we put in a performance. People were a bit more proud, and we did try and go for it, but we just couldn't get that equalising goal. What was the other thing I mentioned as well? So there was the other Dier,
ironic cheers of Dier.
Yeah, ironic cheers of Dier.
It's cunty, isn't it?
Again, yeah. You know, it's not gonna be like, it's not gonna get someone's fucking confidence back, is it?
Do you know what I think with that one, Rick? I think
blindly cheer.
But even like when people were like, you know, because fucking Emerson was starting to get booed and stuff as well. On those sort of things, when I think like somebody... Because I fall into this trap of sometimes being like, you know, these people, they're not wired normally. They're elite athletes and they, you know, they deserve to be criticised. I do think there's levels to it. And I do think that type of stuff, when you're literally a human being targeted by jeers and stuff from, say, 10,000 people around you, it's just not nice, is it? It's just not like, it's not nice. It's a shitty thing to do to one of your own players, to do to like somebody playing in your club's colours. It's just shitty. Come on, man. Like, whatever you've paid for your ticket and anything. Like, no, people will say to me, well, you've hardly gone to any games this year. Yeah, whatever. But I've gone to plenty in the past, and I don't think it really matters. I think you can still say that is a shitty thing to do to an individual. You know, save it for opposition players. You know, make them feel like shit.
I don't get the trade-off as well as to say, oh, like you haven't been coming this season and you haven't been paying your £60, so you can't have a voice, as to say, yes, you can boo, yeah, go on boo. Like, booing anyone, especially on your own team, is a shit thing to do to another human anyway. So it doesn't matter. Like, the price of whether you're paying the ticket is irrelevant. Yeah, you can do whatever you want, but like, it's not really going to help matters, really. I don't think anyone's going to feel like all this negativity towards them, and every touch that they have is going to be like under a fucking magnifying glass, and, you know, oh, he hasn't, the weight of the pass have been shit, and get on their back and stuff like that. And I get, like, when Royale or Cess or whoever, when the cross is too deep and we're in a perfect position on a breakaway, all you got to do is sweep that ball towards the penalty spot, and Kane is running there, and all he do is slot it home, and it's over here, and you hear the groans and frustration. That's football, and you are going to hear groans and frustration, but it's the piss taking of like, hey, you fucking managed to catch the ball, did you, Louise? Well fucking done, mate. Like, it's just, is that needed? I don't think so, for me personally, and I don't think it's going to make people perform better. I just wanted to bring those up because I just felt very strongly about halftime boos and the kind of who we think we are, and also sarcastically cheering our own players. So I've got it off my chest now, mate. Thanks.
Well, I remember us all seeing, you remember back in the day when Arsenal, when pretty much the entirety of the Emirates, I think it was the Emirates at that point, or Hype. No, it was the Emirates. When they were booing Abue, and he started crying on the pitch, and they brought him off.
Everybody
was like, fucking hell, that is scummy, man. That is horrible. That is really... Even though it's an Arsenal player and all this type of shit, I think anybody like that doesn't want to just revel in, fucking, he started crying. You're like, fuck me, that is grim. That is really fucking horrible. So just... let's just not be that. Do you know what I mean? Like it's horrible. And you know, this thing. Somebody said the other day of Marcus Edwards scoring that goal against us. Somebody was saying like, and then we played Marseille. They were like, why is it that every fucking ex-Arsenal player or basically they always still love Arsenal and they always want to get one over us. But then our ex-players all fucking hate us and want to get one over us as well. I was like, maybe it's shit like that, lads, Maybe it's kind of jeering them and all this type of shit that we do, Like,
yeah, no, I think... do you know what? Who I'm
Danny
thinking
Rose
of at
has
the
never
moment?
loved us. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No, I was just thinking of Bent. Like,
Yeah.
when you see here Bent on fucking TalkSport and he's, like, tearing into Tottenham or trying to get one over us. Maybe it's like the, with the Harry Redknapp, like Sandra could have stuck that away and we're all fucking regurgitating that, and that's what he's known for, and Bent was shit at Tottenham and stuff like that. But no, I'm not saying don't have an opinion or don't be frustrated or don't be angry about someone's performance, but while you're there, like, just, I don't know, just get behind them, really. If you've got nothing nice to say, then don't fucking boo them and ironically cheer.
innit? Just give it a little bit of love. Do you know what I mean? Like, make me think. You know that old Supertramp song, the "Give a little bit of your love to me." Let's just sing. Next time you want to boo, just sing that.
Sing that.
There you go. There you go. Tottenham song sheet. I've done your job for you. All right. Keep on doing the good work, there, lads. I'm not digging you out. Let's, because we're getting on a bit, Rick.
Yeah.
Let's just end up, because we can't ignore. We've just had the Champions League draw. There's Les Grandes Equipes, the champions. AC Milan, a vintage European outfit, a vintage European tie for Tottenham Hotspur. One of our greatest memories in this competition. I just wanted to ask you, like, I've seen you do a tweet about it already, but I'm interested to know just one of your little memories of the of that tie that we had, because that was the funny thing is we're kind of going into this AC Milan game now as probably the bigger team, the one I'm looking at this now being like, we should beat AC Milan, we should get through to the next round. Was not the case the last time we met them in this competition. This was, fuck me, we've got AC Milan, this is a big game. This is what, 5-time European champion.
Yeah.
Massive team, pedigree of, when you think about teams of years gone by, you think about the likes of AC, the sort of players they've had.
I swear they've won it more than that.
They may well have done. Yeah, they very may well have done.
They are a European mega club. Like, honestly,
one last chance to go to the San Siro as well before it gets pulled down.
Yeah.
One of football's cathedrals.
Indeed, mate, indeed. And I have been chatting to Bardi from the Extra Inch this morning, and we are making tentative plans to go to the game.
Same here, mate. I'll see you out there for an espresso and reading one of those big Italian newspapers. We can pretend we're reading.
I went to the Inter Milan Tottenham game where Bale scored the hat trick. So I've been to the San Siro, but when I went, I was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't a full attendance, because it's only Tottenham, innit? So I was a bit disappointed, and I was a bit disappointed with their kind of ultras section. It wasn't. I didn't think it was all that for Inter Milan, but I've seen AC Milan, and I've seen how they put a lot of tifos up, and their main ultra section, that they are fucking lively. So I'd like to go to the San Siro, full of colour and splendour and loud. And obviously AC Milan do have that European pedigree. They're an enormous team, and I've had some insane players over the years. And like you were saying earlier, Jack, that the first time we played them, it was everyone's fucking hearts fell out their asses when we got drawn against them when we were playing against the might of AC Milan. Now, we felt that way because we hadn't really been in the Champions League and we hadn't really been drawn against them, and we were a bit kind of like the young pups in it. This time round, we've had loads of Champions League games. We've been to the European Cup final. We are, we're fearless, really. And so I think, like I was saying, with the trophies and that mentality. If we win enough trophies or win a few trophies, we'll get that kind of that monkey off our back, and I think we will start behaving like a big club. The same with Champions League. Like, we've now been in it for a long time. We've had a lot of games, and we've been to the final. Now, when we've drawn against AC Milan, and I've seen other Spurs fans saying, like, yeah, it's AC Milan, it's a good, enough of a glamour type, but we'll beat them. Where has that confidence come from? AC Milan fucking won the league last year, didn't they? And we're sitting there going, yeah, we'll fucking turn them over. I mean, that's good. That's a good thing. This is where we need to be. This is the mentality that we need. This is the mentality that the players need. As to say, when we are in those positions against Liverpool, against United, whoever, we've been in these loads of times. We've beaten them loads of times. We finish above them loads of times. Let's just do them. You know what I mean? And I think with this AC Milan team, I look at it and I don't think there isn't a particular player. There's the players that I admire, but there's no one I'm scared of. I'm not scared of AC Milan, and fucking Chelsea tucked them in nicely as well. So I've got no fear, but it's not an expectant. Is what I'm gonna say. It's gonna be a tough game.
What are your biggest memories of that last game, mate? Like what stands out for you most of all?
It is when we scored, because I was watching it on my old desktop computer, I believe, and when we scored, I was banging my fist on the table, and
I didn't know what you were going to say then, young man.
Yeah. I bit my tongue, and I was shouting, and my missus and her sister was there, screaming as I usually do, and my tongue was just pissing with blood, and I was just spitting blood on the floor. But still shouting. I hadn't realised it had happened. So that is one memory of it. And just Lennon bursting down that wing and him taking on that player and thinking, fuck, he actually took them on. And then when he put the ball back in, I didn't think it was the greatest ball for Crouch. Sorry, the ball was decent, but Crouch's connection with the shot, I didn't know if I felt like it was going wide, and then it just rolled in, and then I heard the noise from the Tottenham fans and the gods of the San Siro and looking up, and I was like, I cannot believe we have gone 1-0 up against AC Milan at the San Siro, and we fucking won there. Do you know what I mean? That is an absolute fucking insane result. That is one of the stamps of history, as to say, like, we won at the San Siro against AC Milan. That is, I won't forget that. And then at White Lane, I think it was a 0-0 draw in it, and I was just fucking well nervous throughout that whole game. Wasn't enjoyable at all, but we got through, mate.
You know, so the AC. Oh, this isn't my story, obviously, but she's not here to tell it. Shah went to the AC away game to the San Siro with her dad. And you know, her dad's he's a bit of a boy, and they sat in the AC end, and he ended up.
Hey, really?
He ended up getting in a bit of an altercation in the.
Shit!
Yeah, they had to fucking. I can't remember if they got taken out or they had to leave or something, but yeah, it's yeah.
Oh, that's well funny.
Got a bit tasty.
Are you looking to go over there too? Are you?
Oh yeah, big time, mate, big time. Love it. Business end of the Champions League, just. Get out there, try and get a ticket, and enjoy the weekend. Well, week middle. It's a sort of fake weekend, isn't it? If not, the sort of fan that all the fucking hard nuts say. Do you know what I mean? Just coming out for a fucking espresso. You're everything, you fucking podcasting cunt. You know.
Are you gonna go with Shah?
Shah, yeah, a few of the lads. Yeah, Shah and a few of the lads. So.
Nice.
Be good fun. All right, mate. Well, we're sort of descending into talking about our holiday plans now. So it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, mate. I did want to talk to you more about the scum, but let's fucking, you know what, shelve it. Fuck them. Forget about them. I'm hoping they fall to pieces.
They will.
I'm really fucking scared they won't, mate. I'm scared they've got that Leicester momentum, but you know
they will. The World Cup will halt the the rhythm and the what's the word I'm looking for? The momentum. That's what will happen, and then they'll come back, and players won't be playing, for their World Cup places, and players will just be they'll come off the boil. They'll come off the boil. Trust.